Are you just thoroughly exhausted from standing in front of tennis balls? Let me explain. I had a client this morning and he started talking about how with his brother and his father that they always get in arguments and they always blame him and they'll, constantly change their story. We've all been through that where somebody says, you did this or you did that. And we go, well, no, that's not how it happened. It happened different than that. And he used the metaphor. He goes, when I was a kid, I went to a tennis camp. And one of the first things they did was those automatic tennis ball machines where they shoot the balls. They made him stand in front of that and get hit by the tennis balls. And they said it was to toughen him up. And as soon as he said it, I'm like, that's a perfect analogy for what's happening. And I reminded him, I said, look, you're not a child anymore. And this goes for you. Like when we get into these situations where somebody remembers something differently than us and they start screaming at us, or maybe it's just a fight, something we disagree with. Because of childhood, because of moments in childhood like that, whether it was at a tennis camp or even our parents yelling and screaming at us for something we did perfectly imperfect, we've all been trained to stand in front of the tennis balls and take the abuse. The other thing we've been trained to do is then to justify or argue and go, that's not true, this is what really happened. The second we do that, especially with someone in our family, and or even our partner, and we try and justify, no, that's not what happened. Let me tell you, that's called a reality argument. And it's also something called negative control. What it means is this person is trying to negatively control. They're trying to control my reality, what I think, what I feel, and what I believe. And when we start to defend ourselves, we're now trying to control theirs. Okay? So what I told him, I said, and I do this a lot with clients, I'm like, okay, let's role play this because this is the best way for you to learn it. I said, act like your father and I'll teach you how to respond so you don't get sucked in and you don't have to stand in front of the tennis balls anymore. And so he goes, I'm going to change the name. This isn't his name, but he goes, David, I told you the other day, I didn't want you to do A, B, C, and D. And David's normal response was, wait a minute, that was exactly what you told me to do. Remember the phone call? Like he started replaying exactly what happened. And I was like, no. That's not even what you say. And so I said, do it again. And he goes, David, I told you the other day, I didn't want you to do A, B, C, and D, which of course is a lie. David's reality is that's exactly what he asked him to do. And I said, so here's your response. You say, that's interesting, Dad. My reality's different. It sounds like you're really struggling with that feeling about that confusion. I know what that's like. I'm sad you're in that place. It's beautiful. You see, you empathize with the pain and frustration they're feeling. But you don't have to own their reality and you don't have to stand in front of that abuse. You just go, oh, well, my recollection's different. Sounds like you're struggling with your memory of things. I know what that's like. I would never want to be in that position. And so then I said, so what would your father say? He goes, what do you mean? You know exactly what you did. Well, it sounds like you have an idea of what I think and feel, Dad. Yeah, that's not true for me. You see, you never, ever, ever bite. That's how you recover. That's how you get out from standing in front of the tennis balls. You're an adult. You do not have to justify yourself anymore. Only a child does that. And see, this is a hallmark of codependence. There are different levels of loss of reality. And so if you find yourself with the inability to get away from those tennis balls, if you feel like you always have to defend yourself and correct the other person, you're struggling pretty heavily with codependence, not because you're a bad person and not because your parents are bad people. We just don't teach this stuff. So that's a little nugget, a short solution there. It obviously goes much deeper. There's a lot more to teach in this, but that at least gets you started. So if you'd like to learn more about how to do that, let me know. I'll be happy to get you the resources. So anyway, I hope that allows you. Remember this, we never have to stand in front of abuse. And that's what the tennis ball machine is. If someone's yelling and screaming at us, if somebody's pointing the finger at us and our reality is it's not true, We can step to the side. We can let the tennis balls pass. We no longer have to stand in front of them. So don't forget that. I hope that helps you. Have a great day.